are planning on doing. Oh, Will is here. So Will has been designing a very, very cool system. And he says rubs hands. So Will and I talked about this in the office during this week. It's a huge focus, and I'm really glad that Will is kind of owning this push. Um, so we let Will speak. I I can take this for Will. I don't know if Will wants to, but you're more than welcome to, Will, if you want. I'll yeah. If you trust me to do it, I'll go ahead. Yeah, Will definitely. So I really want to get like some podcast stuff happening in the future, but we'll get to that later on. Okay. So this is Will approved, and as soon as I misstep on this, we are really focusing on making sure that matchmaking is a non-issue for us going forward. So follow me down this rabbit hole a little bit. When players join or go into a game of Fellowship, they will be presented with a couple of options, and this is for us about how we're matchmaking and creating groups. So um, you'll essentially have an A/B decision. Do I want to play quick play or do I want to play normal mode? Or we are trying to come up with a name for that, but a lot of the normal mode stuff will be the way we experienced Fellowship in the past with, progression and that sort of thing. But in quick play, this is really exciting. I think, not I think, I know that the removal of difficulty is one of the biggest things that we are doing there because that's going to rule of those little buckets of matchmaking and make them trivial. So in quick play, what we're doing behind the scenes, and I'll say behind the scenes because a lot of you kind of know how our game is structured, we do have difficulties. So on the back end, we'll be saying in quick play, playing a +5, for example. We haven't decided exactly what we'll be balancing this around, but let's say everyone's playing a +5. If you matchmake, you are playing a +5, but your gear won't matter. If you have 0 gear, your player power will be normalized up to that of a +5. And if you've played for 1,000 hours, your gear will be irrelevant and your player power will be normalized down to a +5. RMV, I'm sure someone will take notes from this discussion and that sort of thing so you can catch up. Um, then, so we've removed difficulty as a variable. So in quick play, you will be on a hero. Hero. Don't fight human nature. Yep, it's a dungeon, and that's cool because yeah, it was a faff to explain it. So then, in quick play, when you complete a dungeon, which will be one boss dungeons, they will grant you not gear but tokens, quartermaster, whatever name we decide to use. And possibly, I think, crafting and currency and gold and those sorts of things. Exactly what that economy will look like, we will talk about. So there is progress in quick play in a way, and that progress, like you say, Wobbly, will actually be in the form of wealth that you can however you want. So this is, I'll go a little bit back to some of the motivation for this. Obviously, we're talking about um, matchmaking and these sorts of things and getting people into groups as quickly as possible. The other option I like to describe as the where are my pants issue, um, where players are wondering when they are doing progression content, they don't they don't have a slot filled. You know what I mean? So How do they make sure that they do that? Well, we have tokens now to do that. Yeah, I know many, and people were progressing so far, even with empty slots. That's not intended. That shouldn't make sense. That's not just a balancing issue. It's partly, but it's also just a guarantee. Okay, so that's the overarching idea for quick play. Get in quick and all that sort of things. Once we get into early access, there's other things we'll be looking at um, during that time. Are there additional things we can look at? I mean, we don't know. I've brought up as a potential thing with multi-role queuing. Again, we're not committing to these things right now, but we'll start with quick play. We'll look at ways to keep queuing to an absolute minimum and these sorts of things. Do we have some kind of UI feedback about um, what roles have the shortest queues? We'll see. But yeah, quick play, the play dungeon, get stuff, get out. Okay, good. So in normal mode, we're looking at structuring this in a macro way that looks a bit like leagues. So does anyone remember a game called StarCraft? This is a little bit of an analogy that I like to use. Okay, StarCraft 2 or Dota or MOBAs. This is where I think these games are really good too. So remember in StarCraft, you had like bronze, silver, gold, platinum? Was it? That kind of thing? For all intents and purposes, let's call it League One, League Two, League Three, League Four. So what we'll be doing is in League One, when everyone starts the season, everyone will start from the bottom, League One or bronze. And everyone in that bucket made together, regardless of your item level of stuff that you've collected in that league. What we're actually doing is that this will mean something similar, though not the same, to people who are doing plus zeros through to plus sevens being match made together. And we'll look at item level. And once you've made your group, you will be able to decide which difficulty you want to pursue based on your team comp. Okay. So that means 7 times less matchmaking variables in that bucket. Cool? Is everyone following? Okay, good. So those will all be single boss dungeons. Then you will reach a plus 8, which will be your first kind of gate. That gate will be a 3 boss dungeon. So at the end of, let's say, Bronze League, League One, you'll have this cool goal of completing a milestone dungeon. Well, we don't know which one that'll be. It might be Sithral's Ascent, or the names are changed. Pirate Raid has become Echoes of Avarice, I think. Anyway, we know what we're talking about. A 3 boss dungeon. So that will be like a big challenge standing in the way, and then you will graduate to silver, or you will, and then you'll have access to that next set of item levels, and you can upgrade within that bucket, because your gear will, obviously have upgrade limits and that sort of thing. So then what will happen is you'll progress through that. You're in Silver League, you're being match made with other Silver League people, and you'll get your next milestone dungeon at like a plus 15, for example. We haven't decided yet, and this is something I talked with Will about last week, exactly when we'll be introducing some of the other like things. So for example, right now, in the game, what people obviously, how we were exposing, advanced boss mechanics at plus 5. I thought that might be a little bit confusing if technically you were getting that in the middle of a league, and sometimes you were doing a plus 5, but sometimes you were doing a plus 3, etc., etc. We are kind of looking at what does it make sense to expose and when. So maybe you will get certain things that you've come to know, whether that's certain ascensions and curses, whether that's the advanced boss mechanics, whether that's the timer. We're trying to figure out where those make sense to go in this progression. We don't have any word on that yet, but I kind of envision that once we've made these decisions, there'll be a nice. I think it feels like the potential for an infographic, um, or I mean, there'll definitely be a video that I'll make and that sort of thing. Does that not divide people more? Um, I'm a little confused how this helps. So this will help Chubb by making it so everyone who's in a range of difficulty gets match made together, as opposed to creating so much granularity that we're creating so many buckets. Less pulls, faster queues, right, Zig? So, for example, what this means is that rather than, for example, the plus 32 buckets we were putting people into in terms of difficulties, that's going to cut that down to, you know, about 4 buckets and that sort of thing. Would you be able to rank down if you know what I mean? Like go down a league? I've actually thought about that, but um, good question. That's a good question for Will. Will says no. Yeah. So you'll progress throughout a season. I think it's really cool because like what will happen is that I can envision people chasing certain maybe rewards that relate to these leagues, for example. I really want to hit um, gold in season 1 of Fellowship because there's this shiny thing or this cool thing. And then I want to really hit platinum in this season of Fellowship, extra cool thing. Then, if you get so far as you graduate the final um, milestone dungeon at the end of Platinum or League 4, you will then open yourself up to the infinite progression that happens. That's going to look a little bit different because everything before then, you will have your single boss dungeons in the league, and you will graduate that league by completing a challenge 3 boss dungeon. Repeat that for each league, and then once you reach the infinite progression system, then we're going to expose to you something that we have been doing now, which is when you'll get your menu of content. So, because you guys understand how our difficulties have been, we're looking at maybe that infinite progression starting at something, that like what a plus 30 or plus 32 or something has been. So the leagues are like tutorials to the season. Got it? I mean, it depends who you are and what your goals are, but for a lot of you here, I think that infinite progression is what you're aiming for. Um, so once you get into the infinite, you get a menu of content that you can do, which will change depending on which uh, difficulty in the infinite progression you've gotten up to. Someone give Hamish a whiteboard. I know. Working off my phone is interesting, but it's fun just to talk to you. I'll just have a look at some of these things that people are asking. Oh my god, one thing, Hamish, I need to know. Am I able to track what dung I did? A dungeon, I guess. On first playtest, I had to keep track on an Excel spreadsheet. I need to know if I should prep again. There's something I want to reveal to you, but I'm sorry. We're going to have cool things. That's not a tonight thing. Sorry. Um, but yes, so that's an overview of what our normal mode will be. Let me see if there's anything else I can answer here. Spells asking wipe after early access. Don't know yet. I guess it really depends how early access goes and how much community feedback drastically changes core things in the game or not. That would be what I would say. Earlier, I suggested a personal page on the leaderboards. I think that'd be cool. There's this really cool thing in Dota Plus actually, which is like the battle report. We don't have anything like that planned, but I really like that kind of stuff. Which gives you like your season stats and like your season breakdown. Love that. No leaks when other CR devs are in the chat. Got it. No, it's not that. It's more that if I do end up going along to the Echo stream to something that I want to possibly reveal there. Um, And again, that'll depend on where they are at with their pools and that sort of thing. But I'll save that. So yeah, so I got a message from Axel. We obviously are, working on the game. I don't want to say quickly as we can. We want to just do the right thing for the game. But it looks like the test, we're attempting to get it up on Friday. But things happen. Development is a thing that's always in flux. So it could be pushed to Monday. We don't know. We'll update people can. Ingrid's going to update kind of FAQ stuff, and any kind of updates that we have will be something that we communicate with you. I mean, I've kind of already spilled the beans, so to speak. You thought it was tomorrow? Is there something different? No, the original plan was to do it tomorrow. So it's potentially Friday, possibly Monday. We don't know. So this is, you might have might have noticed. I was very explicit in the dev update video that flexibility is something that we need from both sides for this test, and I really want to reiterate that because, as you know now, the context of what to stress that. You're getting a lot of we don't knows, yeah, because that's development, Alonso. There's things that happen, and we want to be transparent. I could very well just say nothing, and you'd all be confused. Um, I'd prefer that we tell you the truth and that you get the information, so you can be, at worst, disappointed. I know it sucks. I don't. I'd much prefer people be disappointed but know the information rather than confused and angry. Does that make sense? I think that's respectful. I think that's at least my commitment to you. I hope that works for you. Um, so so there's a few questions here. If we get selected to participate, do we get notice? So I know when to stop spam refreshing my email. So these things, the current plan would be that the first wave, well, it'll be automatically accessible, like we've said, to the people who have had access in the past, private playtest. I don't know with the system if they'll be notified. If they're not notified, we'll make sure that we post something in the announcements. Then the additional people that we start scaling the invites to, they will get into the onboarding flow that is set up, and we haven't decided when those invites will go out. So that is something that we'll need to have people be patient for. We'll let you know. We don't know when that's going to happen. Like I said a little bit earlier in the chat, we are being really flexible on our side with this test as well. We want to get as much really good data as we can. And now you have the context. You know that this is because we have the open beta happening on September 18th, which is just over 3 weeks away. So, like I mentioned, if we need to, we'll bring the test up and down as many times as we need to until that date. We're keeping that open. The test could be a week long. It could be 3 weeks long. We don't know. So first wave equals previous test only initially, but we could very quickly start inviting others. That's up to the dev side. We have to kind of see how those first few hours go. Mad Head is asking, I wanted to ask if you were considering raid dungeons in the future. Did you do the additions? Absolutely. We've talked about that very openly. We're very open to looking at raids. We don't know. This is just true. We don't know what that'll look like. We haven't got one cooking that I'm telling you about. That's just true. Could be like something that's 8 players. Could be something more. We don't know. But yeah, we're excited about that idea. But we need to make sure that the game is like kind of just cooking along real good before we even open that can of worms. Is there a sort of number of invites expected to get sent out? I've talked about this with the team. We're kind of targeting. So we had about 600 invites, I think, go out to the last one. we'd be looking at minimum 2,000-ish. But again, all of this is flexible, could scale more. We'll just keep you updated. I just need to know if you need a healer for your groups, Hamish. Yeah, for sure. I mentioned before I was playing a lot of press previews today at Gamescom. I almost exclusively played Mako, and I'm not doing that just to kind of embolden the Mako cult, but facts are facts. It's just true. Had a good time. I think a mega dungeon would be better. I mean, I love the idea of a mega dungeon. Something that has like a weekly reset, like 12 bosses. Wouldn't that be sick? Pasting again the question just in case. Sorry for the spam. No problem. This is okay right now. Any plans on adding something like a codex of the dungeons in game with information of the bosses, abilities, loot, and so on? A dungeon journal, maybe. I don't know. That's a good question. And ironically, but this is maybe interesting. I got this exact question from Medic. So if anyone follows League of Legends, played this game with Medic yesterday, and he's obsessed. That was I'm hoping he can bring in some of the league crowd. But he asked the same question: will there be a dungeon journal? I don't know. Maybe, maybe. Hamish, would you say you're a better Mako than Kate? I mean, of course. I'm world's best Mako. Um, and it would be a huge lie. I think Kate is unbeatable. Like, she's. I'm actually scared of Kate. Is quick play a pre-made hero gear set, or do you not get loot because it's just tokens? I think I understand what you mean, Fox Gleam. Um, you don't have any gear, effectively, in quick play. That's the best way to think of it. Um, any kind of on hero progression, like skills and talents and stuff, yes, you'll be using them. So effectively, you will actually have more power because you'll have a bigger toolkit with more to do. So that's also a thing. But hopefully that answers your question. Yeah, Kate's scary. The fact that people can be that good at this game is worrying to me. Um, I know you guys already said people in the test will be auto included in the next one. Will that also be the case for our plus one that we sent out invites to? Or will they need to get lucky and receive a unique invite this time around? I actually think they will be included as well, because I think if they completed the onboarding, then they're already in. I think that's how the system will work. Also, now's maybe a good time to mention that for the open beta, we aren't using First Look. First Look is only going to be used for our private testing stuff. So it's still going to have value for us going forward. We'll use it post-launch too. So if we have private tests that we're running upcoming content, First Look for us is a really good way to manage that. We will get to know about it from some Echo video, right? Yeah, probably. Do you know how you want to handle friends playing ranked together while not in the same league? Ooh, good question, Karadan. Um, I actually might need Will to type something here if Will's still around. If you have pre-made groups, or if you group up, what is available to you? Ooh, that is a really good question. Will has left the channel. Yeah. um, let's wait to see what Will. Um, Hamish, is there a chance for some sort of biannual devlog, no matter how shallow it is or in depth? It'd be fun to know what's going on in the background and churning away, or even let the devs get to show off their personalities. Oh, we'll be doing. I mean, I love making content about our game. There will be a trillion opportunities for creating stuff. Sidon, we are actually talking about what we're going to be providing for supporters as well. Yes, decisions are being worked on for that. Warframe type dev streams, yes, yes. You're not wrong. So I'm a big fan of dev streams. I actually had a call with Reb from Warframe a couple months ago. We've had some contact over the years. We kind of worked on semi-relevant adjacent games for a long time. Um, I used to do a dev stream for a game called The Division, which I really enjoy doing. One of the things that I don't think I would repeat is we actually did it weekly. It was too frequent, not enough time to really cook up big news. So I think for us, I'd focus on doing. I would be looking at monthly, especially given our time zone difference and how often I feel okay having probably the Swedish devs late. They don't know this yet, but I'm going to be asking that of them. Um, Getting them to stay up late because that lets us hit the most time zones. Got him. Yeah. But Axel doesn't really have a good sleep schedule anyway. Okay, wait, pause. We have an answer from Will. So you'll be in the same league as your party members, limited by the lowest league of your party. So if one friend is in League 1 and you're all in League 2, you can only be 11. He means League 1. There's no League 11. Everyone needs to have completed the big dungeon before they can play the next league. Great. Makes sense. But effectively, you could, um, you know, carry a League 1 player up into League, provided they are able to complete that milestone dungeon with you. So there you go. Love that. League 11. 11 leagues confirmed. Seems like a big issue. We'll have to keep an eye on it. That's true. Do we mind that at that difficulty? Maybe not. We'll have to kind of see how it works in practice. Are leagues character specific? That's a good question. I imagine that they would be. Yes, they are. They are. They are. And then, so as you kind of get, like, imagine you are now a platinum rhyme player. You will have gathered so many resources through that you could then go and spend a bunch of those resources at the quartermaster to get gear from, like, the base of League 3, for example, or League 2. There will be ways to kind of prog quickly, provided that you are collecting stuff and your economy is generating enough income that you can, you know, probably skip through the early stuff quite quickly. If that makes sense. How will new heroes be implemented later on in the game? Are we going to have some kind of currency to buy them, or will we just get the option to play them as soon as they are released? There are no plans to have any kind of gate behind new heroes. If any dev tells me that there will be, I will punch them. So you might be starting a fight. No, I've heard of no plans. If there's a new hero, everyone will get the new hero. But yeah, these are the systems that we'll be testing out. It'll be fun. Be cool. Yeah, all currency and materials are account wide. That's true. You're gonna fly over to Sweden just to punch them? Yes. No, I wouldn't. I was just kidding. I love my devs. They're actually very, very lovely people, and I miss them a lot already. Paid expansions in the future or just a season system? We're just focused on seasons. When can we expect to get more information on the league system? Preferably something written. Good question. I would imagine we want to have some very clear-cut information before. I don't know. Actually, Will, that's a good question. Will we have something before the open beta or before early access? I actually don't know if this league system is going to open beta. So, but yes, before it kind of goes in, I'm sure we will have information out to you. You talked about an infographic, Hamish. Yeah, provided we have the resources to make one, that would be. But maybe it would just be, a text document. We're not sure. Who knows? We are so busy. It's like the best problem to have, you know? Just want to get the information out. It would be great if it's pretty. It's not pretty. We still want to get it out. How long are the seasons going to be? And after seasons, is it going to be a wipe of gear or not? We're trying to figure out exactly what that'll look like. Um, we've got some ideas. I don't think right now they're cooked enough to posit them right here. But yeah, we shall see. As long as the community understands it, the community might take care of explaining the system, even if it's not ideal. I agree. Paul is saying more solid league info after it does some rounds of testing and revamps, maybe. Everything is liable to change. Yep. Paul is correct. Believe the Paul. He has spreadsheets. And you should always believe a man with spreadsheets. Is there some sort of cap in eye level guy bar? I'm sorry, oh my god, my brain. Is there some sort of cap in eye level gear you can buy with tokens? Yes. So the goal would be that people would be able to buy kind of entry level gear for a certain league. We don't want people to just be able to buy or trivialize gear. This is going to come down to the economy that we decide to create. But like, let's say you've managed to get a bit of currency, you're going to buy gear at the bottom of Bronze League, not at the top. That makes sense. And then the best way for you to progress through Bronze or League One would be to play the progression. Um, what about Mr. Bombastic? It will be unlockable. We actually haven't decided where that rat's gonna go. Who knows? Will there be some kind of bad luck protection trying to get a specific drop from a specific dungeon? I don't know if exactly it's that, but we're trying to add some bad luck protection, like I said, with the where are my pants problem. So if you have the tokens, you'll be able to at least fill empty slots. But in terms of like smart loot, I hope not. But that's just my personal opinion. Tato Corp saying, I remember from the open beta you could only have sets or gem slots. Is that still going to be a thing? Is it NDA and we don't get it? You could only have sets or gem slots. I mean, the itemization, we probably just kind of need to wait until the open beta to really get a good look at it. There's sets, there's gems on the gem track, there's legendary, there's weapons, there's so many things. And to be fair, I haven't played much of that level of progression. All right, well that was fun. So I've never done this on my phone before. Sorry,
Wow.
everyone. We'll do this properly in the future. But this is the most I can manage from my bed at Gamescom. I'll try and keep you updated with things that are happening. But yeah, exciting times. Been awesome to hang out with you. Good night.